Let's pray, please. Thank you, Lord, for today and all the blessings that you've given us. Thank you for an opportunity to serve in this wonderful country. We pray for those that are in war-torn areas now in Ukraine. Pray for the leadership of both countries that will come to some sort of conclusion on that. Lord, we just thank you for Ramsey County and for this pleasure to live here, the weather that we've had, just everything about us that just looks to your glory. We just give you glory, and we pray for wisdom, guidance, and vision to everything.
Morning. Roll call.
Here.
Commissioner Russo. Here. Commissioner Lava.
Here.
Judge Mills.
Here. We have a quorum. Excuse me. Citizens to be heard. We have Mr. Rivera.
I want to speak that we live in Peninsula Oaks on Griffith Lane or Griffith Street. We've been having a lot of animals getting killed. They're not my pets, but they're other people's pets. And I've called the dispatcher for them to come out there and do more patrolling out there, because that Griffith, it's like in the mornings, in the evenings, there's people driving 40 to 50 miles an hour. And I talked to Jack Cheney a while back, and I told him what's going on. And he told me on the phone, he said, what's going on in this neighborhood, we have these little bastards killing these cats with pellet guns and BB guns. When he told me that, I got upset. I said, no, Mr. Cheney, we have these bastards driving these vehicles like a bat out of hell, taking these animals out.
Okay, sir, let's try not to use any obscene words.
Anyway, this happened on February the 25th. Anyway, and she lives right across the street, and she's a witness that there's a lot of people that drive through there real fast. You want to speak?
Oh. Yeah. 2 weeks ago,
Get
we had
closer to
this.
the-
I'm
Your name, please?
Oh, Patricia Hinojosa, 223 Griffith, 37 years. I've buried the cats. I've moved the cats. 3 of them within 3 days. I actually watched one in its death throes. It was terrible, but it's a consequence of our road. It's been like that for 30 some years. The part where we live on, it's got a stretch where there's no curves and they floor it. Many, many years in the past, I called the sheriff's department, asked them to put extra
Patrols.
patrols. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, it's just the nature of the road. I think possibly more signs up with a speed limit of 30. I don't know what all. Definitely asking for an increase in patrol. But the signs won't do a whole lot of good unless it's actually patrolled and people realize it's going to happen.
Right.
But it's a danger to the pets. I've got grandchildren. Anybody around there.
Or we need speed bumps. We need speed bumps through there. At least 1 or 2, because they do drive through there. And that's a busy road. It is busy. And another thing I want to complain about is the Live Oak Elementary School. We have all the medians there. And sometimes that grass grows so high, it's ridiculous. That's a public school. That place should be maintained at all times. All times, that place should be maintained. And to me, it's a disgrace to see a public school like that when the grass gets this high. And it should be maintained. You know, when I was a kid, I've been here all my life. All my life. I grew up here. I went to school here. My parents lived here. My dad used to work for his father, for Bubba Casterline. And Rockport was well maintained back then. And now it's not maintained. You know, I just don't get it. And there's more people moving here. There should be more money into the system that we can make Rockport beautiful the way it was a long time ago. And also the crossover on Sweet Bay. There used to be a crossover on Sweet Bay that ran into Griffith. Y'all took that out. For what reason? I talked to Jack Cheney and he said it was because of the, what do you call it? Because of the kids. They were afraid the kids might get hurt. And I said to myself, well, the way I look at it, they wouldn't get hurt if the grass was well maintained. And y'all took that crossover out. That crossover there on Sweet Bay, it used to be there before I was born. And y'all took it out. It's like y'all get on a boat, you get to your destination. Okay, let's take the plug out. Let us sink here. To me, that's not right.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, sir. We'll look into it. We do have a presentation today from the Agriculture and Homemaking Show, Megan and Ginger and other people. Good morning.
Some kids. So we had a great year at the A&H show this year. We had 50 kids participate, 33 that made it to auction. And they got $116,428 plus add-ons.
Wow.
We had 3 kids that won showmanship, which is super awesome because that is an indication of how much the kids know about the animal they're raising. It's not judging the animal, it's rating the kid, really. So we're super proud of them for that. So you kids want to talk about your entries?
Can they come to the microphone?
Yeah, there's a portable. Okay.
Yeah,
Speak to the purple.
Okay. I do homemaking. Sorry. I'm Caitlin Caruth. And I'm a senior in high school. I've been doing 4-H for, I think, going on 8 years, 7, yeah, going on 8 years. I do homemaking, mainly sewing stuff. This year I won grand champion in clothing and reserve champion in textiles. Sorry. I also won a number of awards with my art and photography entries, and a couple $1,000s in the Cotton Award.
She has one on that she won, plus
This is the reserve one.
wow.
Wow.
All right.
That's good here. Sure.
And those are your ribbons?
Yes, these are a few of the ones that I won. I won rosettes and blue ribbons.
That's great. That's great.
And then this is the grand champion.
Oh, that's good looking too.
Hi, my name's Jillian Hale. I've been in 4-H for 10 years. I am the president of the Aransas County 4-H Club and the Aransas County Ambassadors. And I mainly do livestock. My focus is poultry, and I got grand champion pen of 3 broilers and reserve grand champion turkey.
Hold it up.
That's great. Yeah. Wow.
All right.
I got 3 buckles. So this is reserve grand champion turkey, grand champion broilers, and champion tom turkey.
Wow.
Wow.
and this is not A&H show related, but what happened the last few days, Jill?
Oh, I got auction at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Wow.
Okay.
Congratulations.
White turkey.
So she made auction, which is a big deal.
That's wonderful. Great.
Hello, my name is Connor Hale. I've been in 4-H for 4 years. I've raised broilers, roasters, and turkeys. I got 4th place in everything except my roasted cockerel, and I've been going to all the major shows, and our next one is tomorrow.
Where is it?
Congratulations. That's great.
Austin.
You want a possible photo op with the commissioner standing behind you? Make us proud. Thank you. All right, under consent agenda, we have 6 items. I'd like to bring out the item number 7, 3,000 pounds of dog food and cat litter from the People's Assisting Animals of Corpus Christi. And this doesn't come easy. Laura is not here. Anyway, oh, there she is. Okay. Laura, she's amazing how she can find all this donations. I think she's had one since then too, but she'll tell us about that later. So congratulations on that. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made. Do I have a second? Commissioner Castelline. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawbach.
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Aye. Unanimous. Item number 8.
I move to approve order number O-06-2022, ordering the special election to be held May 7th, 2022, for the purpose of adopting or rejecting the proposed constitutional amendments as submitted by the 87th Legislature, second called session, and 87th Legislature, third called session of the state of Texas, and providing notice of the election.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, Commissioner Russo. Any discussion?
Kevin, do you have information you'd like to share?
Well, it is 2 constitutional amendments. Both of them are related to taxes. I will mention that this election was not under our radar when we discussed the budget for this year. So it might have some effects on the budget, but I won't know that really until the November election rolls around.
Is this the same date as the city election?
Yes, so it is going to be the same ballot. We're going to be sharing polling places.
Any other discussion? Thank you, Kevin. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawbach.
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Aye. Unanimous. Item number 9.
Move to approve request for variance on county subdivision regulations on the minimum lot size requirement for replat 409 and 410 Charlotte Drive from 2 lots into 1 single lot.
Second.
Motion made, second, Commissioner Laubach. Any discussion?
David, do you or Kat have anything you want to add to this?
I don't know if Kat's online or not.
Kat, are you on the line?
From the staff memo, this is one of our standard ones where the even the combined lot is under our minimum, but it's larger than the existing lots and still approved for septic. Seems non-controversial.
No discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawbach.
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Aye, unanimous. Item number 9,
10.
or 10, I'm sorry.
I move to approve change request number 3 to request an amendment to the Texas General Land Office GLO grant contract number 20-065-098-C270 to reallocate $8.8 million in grant funds previously set aside for a micro hospital to streets and drainage projects.
I'll second that.
Motion made and second, Commissioner Cheney.
My main question
John?
about this one, is this the whole grant? I didn't think, I thought it was more than.
Just part of the grant, majority of it.
So what's happening to the rest?
The rest of it's being moved to the other projects, radio tower, the community building.
By another, that'll happen on another agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Lamba,
Aye.
Judge Miller.
Aye, unanimous. Item number 11.
Move to amend the contract between Aransas County and Mike McDonald Port Services, which includes engineering, design, and construction management of all streets and drainage projects through the Texas General Land Office grant contract number 20-065-098-C270 to increase the approved fee to Mike McDonald in the amount by the amount of $528,608 due to the increased scope of work as a result of change request number 3 to the GLO grant contract.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, Commissioner Cheney. Discussion?
John, is
John?
that the total or is it increased by that amount? David?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, what was your question?
Is the 528, is that the total of all of it, or is that actually increasing by that amount?
It is increasing by that amount. Yes. And
What is the reason?
okay, so 2 of the projects that we are doing, Linden Street and Ruby Allen, the scope has changed dramatically from what was an original scope when we got the project. The 8 point whatever million that's going to be put into drainage projects takes care of the increased scope. And it did seem reasonable that the work that the engineers were doing, it's justified for the increase in.
Because their fee is based on a percentage of the total dollars.
Yeah,
Right.
partly because there's fees based on a percentage, but you know, they've done the work, they're doing the work, they're at 90% plans on everything, and they're over their budget. And it is largely because the scope has changed.
Any further discussion?
Should this be the last increase that you're aware of?
Yes.
What does that make that total project for the Linden and the Ruby Allen? Thanks, good gracious.
I don't have those numbers with me. I think Ruby Allen is like, I don't know, 8 million or something like that. Linden is in the, I don't know, 3 million range.
Those
But it's on all of the projects, not just the Ruby Allen and
Right,
Linden and
right.
1781 and
Yeah.
Rattlesnake Point Road.
it would be good for us, and I know that we're moving into the time we're getting ready to do budgets, but it'd be good on that particular project where there's so much drainage going on. I'd like to either have a little workshop or a presentation to pictorially show us where all this drainage is.
Okay.
I know
We
where it
can do
is in
that.
my precinct, but I don't know where it is in other precincts. And that's, we're doing a really marvelous job drainage of Aransas County altogether. But this is going to be a significant increase in that efficiency, I believe.
Yeah, it is. I'd be glad to do a demonstration sometime.
David, what's the timeline look like? What's the next project up? And are you going to break ground on anything in the near future? Will it be summer, fall?
I hope it is within the next few months. The 90% is substantially finished with the design. That's where we are. We still have to get permits from Corps of Engineers and TxDOT, and we're working on that, but it's hard to judge when those permits are going to get approved. I have no doubt they will get approved, but when you're dealing with these state agencies, they sometimes drag on longer than than you think they should. You were going to say something, Commissioner?
I'm going to say something, yes. I just want to clarify, I think Commissioner Kesterlein just asked if this 528,000 was for several drainage projects. I thought when I talked on Friday, it was just for Linden and Ruby Allen.
Well, Linden and Ruby Allen are the ones that changed to drive this amount. Actually, I don't know how the engineers' budgets are worked out. I mean, do they have one fee or do they have different fees?
Be for each one of the projects, the drainage projects and streets.
Okay, so it would be for these two projects is what's these two projects are
Yeah,
what's
the
driving
biggest,
it.
the biggest two changes are those two projects. The other ones are very minimal.
So it does incorporate other projects and not just those two in that 528,000.
That-
But mostly
they
those
pro-
two.
That's what they proposed, Commissioner Russo. I think when we negotiated and talked to them, that we did go back to just the two big changes when Grant Works did discuss it with them.
Right.
So we only allowed for the two big projects.
Right.
But they did propose some smaller ones on the other projects. But they have been contacted and they are aware of this and have accepted what we're offering.
Right.
So then for clarification, this 528,000 is for the Linden and the Ruby Allen projects. If there is other tweaking that needs to be done on some of the other drainage projects, we might think that McDonough plans to bring forth additional fees on that.
I'm not aware of anything unless we
No.
substantially change
Yeah.
the scope on something
All
that they
right.
would bring
So,
anything back.
You know, the bottom line is we have so much in grant money and that's all there is. You know, if they are asking for more money that we don't have, they're not getting more money. They understand that. I have no idea what the bids will come out like, you know, in these
The
times.
construction bids, you mean?
Yes. And they may just be ridiculous. I mean, I don't know, but we'll spend the money we have and that's it. You know, we don't have other sources of revenue for this.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Lava,
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Aye. Item 13.
I think it's 12.
Oh, I'm sorry, 12.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign Form A-505 construction contract change order for Texas Department of Agriculture Colonia contract number 7219490, reducing the total project cost by $13,847.05 and approving a 40-day extension to complete the project. And I talked with Commissioner Casterline. We approved this action before.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
We
Okay.
approved this before, and this is just allowing the judge to sign that form, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Lava,
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Aye. Now item 13.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign the Texas Association of Counties Cybersecurity Course Enrollment Form for counties to comply with the Texas Government Code number 2054.5191.
Second.
Now,
Motion made and second, Commissioner Laubach.
As I understand, this is a no-cost item? So is it
No.
not a budget? I mean, do we have to pay TAC for this? Or is it just part of our dues?
It is part of our dues, so there isn't a cost to us for it.
But it is an unfunded mandate, as you explained to me when I asked
Correct.
about
It is
it.
an annual obligation of every county employee and elected official to submit to this course.
And this is
Right.
the online course that we have to take.
Right.
Correct.
It's
You
the
did,
one we
that's
take every
true.
year.
Yeah.
So it would hit our budget if it weren't for the fact that we get it for free from TAC. I mean, that the legislature does require us to do this.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Lava,
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Aye, unanimous. Item 14.
I move to continue the consulting agreement between Aransas County and Richard E. Beck, Texas Capital Consulting, which become effective on July the 8th of 2013.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Casterline. Any discussion?
I would like this to, it to be understood that we will move forward on the draft that our county attorney has given to us, and that to be put into an agreement with Mr. Beck and any subsequent lobbyists that we may have as soon as we can get that done.
I'd like to see a timeline on that process. I think that this should be part of a request for qualifications process in the near future. And the near future needs to be defined.
I think we should be able to have this by the end of this budget year, I would think.
That would be next August?
No, December.
Our budget year would be
Begins January.
January
1.
1st.
You're saying you would like it done by the end of 2022?
Yeah.
I'd like it done in the next month.
Well, it needs to be done. I agree that it needs to be done and done with some rapidity, but I don't want to rush through this.
But 10 months is not rushing. And
Okay.
even 1 month is not really rushing, at least to get a RFQ going.
Well, I don't think 1 month is enough, but that,
We do
I
a
think 2 months
RFQ.
would.
The RFP process will take probably about 60 days because by the time we advertise and we have to give 30 days, then reviewing them and bringing it to commissioners, I would expect it to take at least 30 days once the RFP is.
So we should
prepared.
start now in order to be far along in the process within a couple of months.
Well,
Yes.
The contract hasn't been examined in 9 years. It's time that we put it out through a regular procedure.
Well, also the contract date, if we allow this current contract to run, ends July 8th, which is April, May, June, 3.5 months.
That should give us time then to do a regular procedure this time.
Yes.
Then I would amend the motion to include the proposal that we immediately move forward with an RFQ process so as to be ready to take action by the time of the termination of this particular term of contract.
Prior to.
Well, to be finished by that time, yes.
I'll second that.
That's not really an amendment. The motion was to continue the contract and the amendment would be to continue.
It would be to continue it only on the condition that we immediately get moving on an RFQ process so that we'll be in a position to do something about it at the end of the term of the current contract.
May I suggest that that be an RFP instead of an RFQ?
I always get those mixed up, but I thought we had to use RFQs for professionals. So if an RFP
I'm
is.
sorry, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, the motion's been amended and seconded by Commissioner Russo. Any further discussion?
So the motion, I believe with the amended motion is not to continue is to continue through July 7th, but at the same time to put out an RFQ to see if you want to continue beyond that.
Carrie's right. The existing contract has an automatic evergreen in it. And my amendment would be to continue the project, the current contract only through its current end date and not to activate the evergreen, but instead to replace that with an RFQ process.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and amended motion made by Commissioner Laubach, seconded by Commissioner Russo. Any further discussion?
Okay, so what I'm going to put on this is I'm going to say that this is a motion to terminate the existing contract at the end of its
Current term, July 7th.
Anytime an RFQ will go of which this contract or for Mr. Beck could be again with a new contract. Is that sort of what we're looking at?
Sure, whoever wins the RFQ process, it could be Mr. Beck, certainly.
So it's not an amended, it's right now, it's to terminate the existing contract at the end of its present term and to move forward with an RFQ for the future.
Yes, with the understanding that if we do a new contract, it'll be the new form of contract that the assistant county attorney has been working on.
I have a minor change to the motion would be that technically the contract would not be terminated. It would be expiring at the end of the current term, which would be in July.
How does it now read? What triggers an expiration? It's been evergreen up to now without any action. So is this action?
Notification.
So this notification would be sufficient to cause it not to evergreen?
Right. It would just expire naturally at the end of its current term.
Okay. That works.
So the motion would be to allow the present agreement to expire at the end of this term, present term, July 7th.
Yes.
Great.
Everybody understand? Mr. Beck, do you have anything? Or you understand?
I had a presentation, but I guess it's already been decided.
You want to,
But no,
you want to get that mic closer to you, please?
I had a presentation, but there's no point in going through it. I think you want to go out for bids. I don't know how many. I don't hear about too many companies that go out for bids on lobby services, but I certainly think there's nothing wrong with reviewing the contract and you're committed. I had never heard any complaints about the job that I do.
Okay.
Not really going out for bids when you go out for an RFQ, which.
Just see if there's anybody else interested in it.
Then you negotiate with them.
If Mr. Beck wants to address us on his current activities, I certainly have no objection to hearing him.
I don't either. You want to make your presentation, go right ahead.
Well, I think most of you know, one thing that concerns me, tell me again when you'll be able to, when
you need to get that mic closer to you, please.
When you'll be able to be complete with your process?
By June the 7th, or July the 7th, right?
Yes.
The speaker has put out his interim studies for the House. And the Lieutenant Governor will be putting out the Senate interim studies. A lot of people think all the work's done during the session. The work's done before the session. The work's done. The interim studies are issues that came before the legislature or that's trying to be brought before the legislature, and they're assigned to the committee, like for instance, the insurance committee, and they meet and write a report. And then the report goes back to the speaker and lieutenant general. So lieutenant governor. So that's a real important thing. So if you have somebody in place when that begins, but it's the first thing you're going to want to do is find somebody that knows that process. And I've worked it for a long time.
Right. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Nay.
Commissioner Castelline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Lombard,
Aye.
Judge Mills.
Nay. 3, 4, 2 against. Discuss, approve the February 2022 indigent healthcare. I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion second, Commissioner Russo.
And I met with the treasurer Cartwright before this meeting, and she is attending on Zoom. My question to her usually is how many patients are included in the hospital inpatient services, and she has given me that information. There was one inmate included in that, and that's the total that shows up there, $9,310. And for the hospital outpatient services, there was one indigent healthcare and 3 inmates included in that. She did mention that there are a number of inmates and possibly indigents currently receiving hospital services, and we'll see those prices in future budget or future presentation of the monthly financial report.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lala.
Aye.
Judge Miller.
Aye, unanimous. Item 16.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign a renewal of the program agreement with the Texas Association of Counties for the Affordable Care Act reporting and tracking service.
Motion made and seconded. Commissioner Casterline, any discussion?
Is this another one that's non-budget, so it's covered with our TAC dues?
Yes, this is a service they provide for free.
And I will say, and Linda can probably verify this, this is a very valuable service that TAC provides to us. Just another good reason for us to be members.
Yes.
Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lala.
Aye.
Judge Miller.
Aye. Item 17.
I move to approve the budget line item transfers.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded. Commissioner Casterline.
We have none at this time, Judge.
Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lala.
Aye.
Judge Miller.
Aye. Item 18.
I move to approve accounts payable and payroll/payroll liabilities.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Commissioner Cheney. Any discussion?
We have nothing unusual with this, this run.
Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lala.
Aye.
Judge Miller.
Aye. Unanimous. Now's the time for any department heads or elected officials to bring up anything that might be of interest to the rest of us, if they have something. If not, do we have P reports?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'll be presenting those next Commissioners Court with the monthly report that I'm doing.
All right.
And are we going into closed session today?
This as soon as I find out if anybody has anything to say. Nothing, no one has anyone to say. We will be going into closed session at this time.
Well, I was on the list to mention a couple of things.
Okay,
I don't
yes.
know where that list ended up at, but anyway,
Go
I
ahead.
signed up on that list. Some of the discussions that I wanted to mention was that reallocating the funds from for the micro hospital to other assigned plans. Some of the things that were discussed through our discussions with the Ramsey County Medical Services was that we do not necessarily need a micro hospital at this time because we're still waiting to get that 35 miles. And so that there was other discussions about that. However, we were communicating with Dr. Baggerman and Amistad and bringing them into the Little Bay area. And so that was being discussed with the long-term recovery team about bringing Amistad here. And so they could work with the workforce, which is right next door. So if we've already purchased half of the building, we need to finish purchasing the rest of the building so that we can continue to bring the federally qualified healthcare center here in place of some of these other things. So I'm not exactly sure what all the funds are being allocated to, but you probably need to look into that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll be going into closed
We
session
have,
now.
do you want to, we have a citizen that wants to speak. Come up to the mic, please.
Mrs. Arnold, my understanding is that the workforce training is predicated on having the high school students there. As far as I understand, the school district will not be sending students over to the workforce training if there's adults present. So I don't know how that will work.
I have spoken with Del Mar College, and Del Mar does plan on bringing phlebotomy, nursing, EKG, different things like that. And if the
Amistad was next door. They could send their trainees over there for their continuing education and to finish up getting signed off on all of that and work with Amistad. So I think that it would be a great relationship between the two. I do understand what the school is doing, and we're hoping to work with the school in getting some of the age 14 and over to do medical ride-alongs and different things like that with the ambulance, and hoping to work with an Explore Post group with that.
Insurance won't allow them to send high school kids to
Can hear Mr. Hutt because he's not on a microphone, so our viewers at home and on. But also, this is a time for citizen comment, and it's probably.
In my understanding,
Okay.
a high school,
Wait a minute.
sorry, I apologize.
Wait a
Yes,
minute.
She's correct.
I was,
All
I
right.
was just going to suggest that they visit privately after the meeting because this is citizen comment, not time to discuss and deliberate.
All right, if we can, we'll go into closed session now.
You sure? Yeah.
Told you this, all I wanted was an RFQ. I told you all I wanted was an RFQ. So that's what I wanted to achieve today. Make sure this gets back into regular process. It may be that nobody will compete. You don't know. You may be the only one that submits one. Told you this, all I wanted was an RFQ. I told you all I wanted was an RFQ. So that's what I wanted to achieve today. Make sure this gets back into